Hey buddy, today we're going to talk about Tesla versus Waymo's business, technology, and stock. But before that, let me show you my portfolio. Here we have about 70% growth a year. Pretty good, pretty good. And then I have another 160k in Google and 130k in other safer stocks. Okay, 160k in Google, and I'll show you my Tesla portfolio, or at least the history. You can see I started buying long ago. I didn't have much money at that time, so I bought little by little. I mostly bought in for the car business at this time. I know Tesla was working on robotics, which I saw is long way in the future, but this was mostly for EV business. So I kept buying, but everything broke for Tesla after that. As you guys know, I don't want to get into it. And I had some puts, made some money there, and then I completely sold Tesla because I just don't see robotaxi working right now. I think it'll take a long time for robotaxi to turn into a fruitful business. And you can actually see I perfectly timed the stock. I was waiting to buy Tesla stock. Anyway, let's move on. Let's go to the technology now. And this is the slide a lot of Tesla investors on Twitter try to show to prove that somehow Tesla will completely floor Waymo, will own the market, and then Waymo and Google will somehow become bankrupt. Let's pick apart each part of it one by one. It says relies on pre-mapped 3D maps of its operational areas to function, and I don't see what the problem here is. Google makes maps of almost entire Earth just for Google Maps, which on paper doesn't even make that much revenue. Okay, now uses end-to-end neural networks for perception, planning, and control, allowing it to function anywhere in the world, which is just a word salad made to make Tesla seem like an exceptionally advanced company. And part of it is true. If it works, it can function anywhere in the world, but it doesn't, and we don't know when it will. Next, 180,000. Okay, maybe it was true for this car, which was 5th generation, but I think they are in 6th generation now, and they've even decreased the number of LiDARs, radars, cameras, and they also decreased the cost. They went with a cheaper manufacturer. And for Tesla, it's 30,000. It's probably true. Maybe Tesla can even make the car for 20,000, but that's not the issue here. The bottleneck, the robots don't work. It's not the cost of the robots, it's just that they don't work. All right, I have some more stuff to show here. What is this? So supervised FSD. And Waymo has been working for some time. They have crossed 100 million miles, and Tesla has recently just launched. And the point I don't understand is, why is the safety guy in the shotgun seat and not in the driver's seat? There's not really any reason to do that unless you want to pump up the stock price. All right, let's move on. I know driving in SF is so much more difficult than driving in Austin and many other places in US. And there were so many instances in which Tesla really messed up when driving in SF. Running red lights, crossing over a double yellow line, and actually let me try to find that video. Alright, okay, I've found it. Listen to this clip.
You just need really good AI. You just need really good intelligence. And you saw like all the extra sensors, all the extra hardware, all the extra cost to get the Waymo to run. And this thing can do pretty well without any of that.
Anyway, that's so funny. Let's go back. Next, why do I say Tesla isn't working right now? Aren't there robotaxis out there? Aren't there people claiming on Twitter and on Reddit that their car takes them to the work every day? The car takes them everywhere every day. And that's where we can see data. And unfortunately, Tesla doesn't share data, so we only have this not so reliable community tracker. And you can see city distance to critical disengagements is about, what is this, 220 miles. Okay, doesn't look bad, right? But let's go to Waymo, and it's 17,000 miles, and that was in 2022. And Tesla only recently started a robotaxi service. Let's see how that goes on, but I'm not holding any stock for now. I don't really know what the Waymo scalability bottleneck is right now, but it's definitely not money. And I don't think it's cost per car either, because if they can get more data, I think Google is just throw money at them to buy more cars. Let's say current Waymo cost is 100,000, and let's say Google throws 1 billion at them, which is nothing for Google really. Then what do you have? 10,000 cars. So money is not really an issue. I don't know what the bottleneck is, but I do expect them to continue scaling like crazy. And then we go to some predictions from Elon Musk himself. I predict that there'll be millions of Teslas operating fully autonomously in the second half of the next year, or else I would be shocked. This is what Musk usually says. I just don't see it happening at all. I think it'll happen at some point, definitely not next year. I like this comment here. These are two ends of the spectrum and they will both progress towards center unless we have a great product. Tesla will have to continue to add hardware and capabilities to meet the demands of fully automation. Waymo will have to cut costs and hardware to make it affordable. And this is true. We don't know what changes Tesla will make. I hope they add some hardware because LiDAR is actually extremely cheap right now. It's going to 500 to 1000 per LiDAR. And Waymo is actually already decreasing the number of sensors they need. From 5th generation to 6th generation, you can see they actually decreased the number of sensors. They removed the LiDAR here and they removed some other sensors. I don't want to get into those details, but the cost will decrease. And the problem for Waymo is definitely not costs in the long run. It's just making the technology to work reliably and safely. And on that point, you can see like even mapping isn't that expensive for Google. They will eventually do it. You can see this Google Street View growth from 2008. It took years and years for them to scale. It's not a one or two year project. I think Google started that self-driving project in 2009 and they didn't plan it for this summer next year. They planned a multi-decade project. All right, let's go back to stocks again now. I am extremely bullish on Alphabet right now. I would be shocked if it doesn't go to 500 within 1.5 year. And Tesla, I just see it staying flat. But I do think they'll do well in like very long term when Optimus actually works. I do plan to buy it back maybe sometime next year when the sentiment is really, really bad, but definitely not anytime soon. That's it from me. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. I'll see you.